Hey, what's going on? It's Inventor here, with my Affliction Curses Necromancer in Diablo 4 Season 9. I just cleared Pit 55 to unlock Torment 4, so I wanted to share my build with you in case anyone was struggling to reach the endgame with the Affliction Curses Necromancer. In this build guide, I'm going to cover my character, abilities, progression, and other relevant information. So first, I'll talk about my gear. Gear. Let's talk about tempers first. In case you are not aware, Affliction is a key passive that is the main source of damage on this build. So my weapon temper is chance for Affliction to deal double damage, which comes from the Shadow Augments Decay recipe. For offensive tempers, I used crit damage and vulnerable damage from Worldly Finesse, since these modifiers can boost Affliction by up to a massive 900% multiplicative damage increase. On my defensive tempers, I stick to resistances and total armor to reach the 75% and 1000 armor caps in Torment 4. My preferred utility temper is increased curse size from Profane Innovation. Mobility temper would be movement speed. And lastly, resource tempers would be resource generation to gain more essence. Now, as for affixes, what I prioritize most are intelligence and max life on most legendary items, ideally with intelligence as a greater affix. That aside, I prefer pumping up my DPS using modifiers like crit chance and attack speed. Or, in the case of my amulet, I would have preferred ranks to a damage passive like Amplified Damage or Death's Embrace, but I was unable to roll for it. As I mentioned earlier, defensively, I need enough armor and resistances to reach the caps on Torment 4. Moving on to aspects. On my weapon, I have Damned Aspect in an ancestral two-handed sword with a GA int, max life, and crit damage. In a two-hander, Damned Aspect nearly doubles the shadow damage from my Affliction, making it a pretty solid option, and you can even unlock it from the Ulder's Cave dungeon in Kyrgyzstan. My helm is a Godslayer crown, which gives bonus damage to elites and bosses from its unique effect. My chest armor is one that has intelligence, max life, and all resistances with Hardened Bones aspect for extra damage reduction. My gloves are Inner Calm to give a general damage boost. I also have int attack speed and crit chance on this as well. My pants are Juggernauts to reach the armor cap. What I really wanted was Blood Moon Breaches, which would be up to a 50% crit damage boost against cursed enemies, but I was unable to find one before reaching Torment 4. For my boots, I'm running Penitent Greaves to get a 25% damage boost against chilled enemies. This works nicely against elites and staggered bosses, but another option would have been legendary boots with intelligence as a greater affix, or something with all resistances like Yens or Rakanoths. On my amulet, I have Sacrificial with GA int, max life, and all resistances. My ring is Elements for more damage with attack speed, crit chance, and fire res. If I could cap out my fire resistance, then I would swap this out for intelligence instead. My other ring is Conceited for more damage while I have a barrier active. I run this in conjunction with the Bottled Wind Horadric power, this particular arcana, and the other modifiers that I have on this ring are max life, attack speed, and crit chance, but I would have preferred replacing max life for intelligence, and like with a lot of other pieces of gear that I have, it would have been nice to get this to be ancestral too. On my sockets, I'm running topazes in my armor for more intelligence. gems in my jewelry to round out my resistances, and runes in my weapon and pants. The rune words I used on this run were Kurgar on my weapon to gain 25% crit chance after casting 5 skills, and Poklum on my pants to refund essence whenever I spend essence. The elixirs and incense I run, which I pop before I try to push the pit, would be life, stats, armor, and resistances. Horadric powers. My catalyst is Cosmic Anomaly on Iron Maiden. My infusion is Nebulous Extract for shadow damage, and my arcana are Invigorating Helix to fortify and heal, Bottled Wind for barrier, and Floaty Bauble so I can blink to another location. I need to spend a bit of time explaining the powers here because this build can use them in different ways. The obvious one is for damage. I would just need to point at a target and use Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden triggers Cosmic Anomalies active, and the activation detonates all my anomalies for large amounts of damage. When I do this, my Arcanas end up giving me some Fortify and Barrier for extra survivability too. I also have Unstoppable when I have 5 anomalies up, although being unaffected by CC is not as important on this Necromancer as other builds that actually use channeling skills. But my personal favorite use of these powers is to warp around. Like this, for example. Cosmic Anomaly can always be reactivated until all the anomalies are gone, so when I have Floaty Bauble on Cosmic Anomaly and Cosmic Anomaly is on Iron Maiden, I can keep teleporting indefinitely until I run out of anomalies. It's weird, it's inconsistent, but basically the gist of this setup is that I spam Iron Maiden to teleport around as if I were a sorcerer. Like, as you can see, right there, that anomaly was not able to make it to where I originally designated it to explode at, so I was able to teleport around for quite some time. Skills. Now, I'm not going to go over every point I allocated into the skill tree, but I did take a lot of points and put them into passive nodes that give more damage. For my key passive, I had the key passive Affliction, of course, since it's what this whole build revolves around. Against monsters who are vulnerable, CC'd, or affected by shadow dot damage, this key passive gives a 45% multiplicative damage boost and does a huge chunk of shadow damage too. When I combine this with Decrepify, which applies CC, or I use any of the skills I have that apply Vulnerable, that's when I can actually do my damage with Affliction. On my skill bar, I am running Iron Maiden, Decrepify, Bone Prison, Soul Rift, Decompose, and Corpse Tendrils. Decrepify is the main damage dealer here, since it applies Affliction with its slow, while Iron Maiden is used to activate Horadric powers. The other skills are used mostly to apply Vulnerable to amplify damage and in case monsters can't be CC'd. So, Corpse Tendrils pulls monsters in and applies Vulnerable. Bone Prison traps them and applies Vulnerable too. The ultimate skill Soul Rift boosts damage and applies Vulnerable. Finally, there's the basic skill Decompose, which I use to generate essence if I run out, or if I need to apply Vulnerable. So, putting this all together, the full skill rotation would be Corpse Tendrils first, then Bone Prison, then Iron Maiden to detonate the anomalies, and spam Decrepify. Against monsters who cannot be CC'd like bosses and unstoppable elites, Soul Rift can be used to apply Vulnerable instead. I use Decompose to restore my Essence pool and apply Vulnerable if I need it. So right now I'm full Essence. If I use Decrepify, you can see I'm running out, but if I just channel Decompose for a few seconds, I'm back to full. In my Book of the Dead, I have sacrificed all of my minions. My skeletal warriors were sacrificed for more shadow damage, my skeletal mages were sacrificed for more vulnerable damage, and my golem was sacrificed for more crit strike damage. Paragon. When I cleared Torment 4 Pit 55, I only used 150 Paragon points, which is roughly around Paragon level 120 worth of points. I used the starting board with Eliminator Glyph, Frailty with Abyssal Glyph, Scent of Death with Exploit Glyph, and Flesh Eater with Amplify Glyph. Note that the Flesh Eater legendary node was not active yet, since I didn't have enough Paragon points. And if I had one more board available at the time, then I would have run the Blood Begets Blood board with the Essence Glyph. My Eliminator Glyph was rank 46, Exploit was at 33, Abyssal was at 15, and Amplify was at 15. Having Eliminator at rank 46 plus gave me the legendary bonus, and having the other glyphs at rank 15 or above gave me the radius increases. As I mentioned before, my last glyph would be Essence. I actually would have wanted to max out Essence Glyph first to gain lots of crit strike damage, but even now, I still have not managed to unlock it yet, even though I'm already in Torment 4. Mercenaries. My hired mercenary is Rahir to help me reach 1000 armor, and for a bit of extra damage too. Normally, I use him for resistances, but on this character, my resistances are already maxed out. My reinforcement is Aldkin for Field of Languish to slow enemies and reduce their damage whenever I get CC'd. Progression. From level 1 to 60, always start by doing the first quest on the seasonal questline in Karagar to unlock Horadric powers and the reputation board. Once that's done, you have a few options for leveling to 60. A simple but perhaps boring way to go from 1 to 60 is to create a character who has not completed the Vessel of Hatred campaign and to just redo the entire Vessel of Hatred questline. This would probably be the fastest way to reach level 60 by yourself. Alternatively, you can run Hell Tides on normal to start off with using Iron Maiden, and then try turning in your Aberrant Cinders on Penitent to maximize the XP gain from them. But once you get the Affliction Key passive with some vulnerable or crit damage tempers on your gear, you can then run Hell Tides on Penitent because the damage from Affliction should be astronomical enough to 1 or 2-shot most mobs. You can run Hell Tides all the way to 60 if you want to. Otherwise, you can run Hell Tides to level 50 and then hit Strongholds and Renown from 50 to 60. At level 60, prep a 750 item power weapon, and then you should be ready to hit Pit 10 to unlock Torment 1, assuming you have maxed out armor and resistances. From Torment 1 to 4, first of all, remember to turn in rewards from the Reputation board and Season Journey as you get them. In Torment 1, do Horadric Strongrooms to get any remaining Horadric powers and Horadric files to upgrade them with. I would prioritize running as many strong rooms as possible first, and you even get a few for free as a reward from running the seasonal quest line. You should also get a decent bit of XP, gear upgrades, glyphs, and Obdicite too. As you get XP, pick up more Paragon boards, and when you have 2 legendary nodes, you should be able to take on Torment 2. In Torment 2, run Whispers and Helltides to pick up any glyphs, tempering recipes, and aspects that you might still be missing. From doing this, you will also get gold, gear upgrades, materials, boss mats, yada yada yada, pretty much a little bit of everything that you need on this build. But boss mats are quite important, since this build can really use the damage boost from its uniques. Duriel and Dariel and Harbinger of Hatred drop the unique Helm Godslayer Crown and the unique Pants Blood Moon Breeches. Grigwar drops Penitent Greaves. Once you have your uniques, you should be ready for Torment 3. With the Obdicite that you picked up from Nightmare Dungeons and Rewards, you should masterwork all of your equipment to at least rank 4. Then, keep clearing the pit over and over again until you have enough XP to get 4 or more legendary nodes and at least 1 glyph leveled up to level 46. All of this together should get you into Torment 4. That should cover it for the Affliction Curses Necromancer. A rather unusual build, I would say, but it is a lot of fun and has insane amounts of damage in AoE, at least while progressing from level 1 to Torment 4. I hope this helps. If you made it this far, then a like, comment, or subscribe is always appreciated. But otherwise, that's all from me. Thanks everyone for watching, and venture out.